Hi, today we're going to talk about God's will and dating and marriage. I'm going to deal with an interesting question. Sometimes you may meet somebody that you thought, this is a really interesting person. I want to sort of pursue getting very serious with this person, or maybe thinking I may want to get married to this person. But the question is, how do I know for sure? Are there things that I could look out for? It's very, very important because usually when you meet someone, people put their best foot forward and you get to see their really good side. But when you get to the more serious phase, you really need to ask yourself, well, I got to ask another layer of questions that which might be uncomfortable. Let me give you 4 things to look out for that I found very, very helpful for people. 1, values. Values, I'll include dreams and goals. It would be great if everyone had the same values and dreams as you do. But the chances of that happening is very, very slim. Sometimes you can adjust because there's overlap. Sometimes the values and dreams are so different that it's just going to cause friction. Let me give you an example. Let's say you met someone and their dream was to be a missionary somewhere in the foreign field of nowhere land. But you didn't have that value and you just wanted to live in the town you grew up in, raise a family, be a Sunday school teacher. That's what you thought you'd do, and those are 2 very different goals and 2 very different dreams. Sometimes it might be financial. Maybe one person says, you know what, I want to just live very, very frugally for the rest of my life. And another person says, well, I don't want to live extravagantly, but I don't think I could live that way. Your values should match in terms of faith, in terms of how you view money, in terms of what your dreams are. Besides value, there's another thing that's very, very important. When people make decisions, do they have your feelings and thoughts in mind when they make the decision? Do you make it together? Or is a person very selfish in decision making? My way or the highway. Now, the reason why you need to be with a person that has you in mind is because being married is a joint venture that you both have to do, and it's a merging of thought and of will so that you are one. And you want to marry someone who actually thinks about what your feelings are and what you desire, because a lot of marriage is much about compromise. To defer to the other person so you don't become selfish in how you do things. So we talked about value. We talked about care and decision making, the other person's feeling. The third one is arguments. Sometimes you meet a couple that they said, we've never argued in our entire lives and we've been married 50 years. Okay, God bless these people, okay, bless them. But they are non-normative, okay? They exist, but they are not the usual. And because they're not the usual, you want to be able to see someone that you're going to have a serious long-term relationship with, what they look like when you disagree, how angry do they get, and how do they resolve it? Because the worst combination is you get someone who's very, very angry and goes over the top. You don't want to be connected with that because you're going to be abused on that. Neither is it good to always have to be with someone who doesn't resolve the conflict. Because when you don't resolve the conflict, the can just gets kicked down the road until the next time you deal with it. Oftentimes in a relationship, there's not much time to see someone blow up or be angry. But when you do have those times of friction and disagreement, really count it as a blessing because you see someone under duress and under strain. And much of life is going to be that way. You're not going to always have your way all in life. The final point is a very, very important one. It has to do with stability and the ability to change. Gone are the years and the times where people worked and they worked in the same occupation their father worked as, that their father's fathers worked as, and you're living in the same town that you grew up in, and your children will live in the same town that, those still may happen in some places, but in a modern society in America, people move around and people change. I find that that's the most difficult thing, because in our journey in life, you might change 3 or 4 times. Where you live, what you work, a single person becomes married, a married person becomes a mother, you buy a house, you live to a different place. It's all different types of changes. And I'll tell you what, the person you marry will be different 20 years from now. Just because life changes. That is why when you figure out what's a good person to spend your life together, you want to see if this person adapts to change and can adjust in life. Because so much of family is changing course midstream and figuring out what to do and developing new solutions and new patterns. The more frustrated a person is with change, the more difficult that journey is. Now, I'm not saying that all these characteristics are found in everybody. You could be happily married, missing one, I would say. But I think these are very, very good guidelines to try to start off your relationship with the most sound and responsible and the healthiest person that has similar values to you.